G'day boys. As you boys know, the Australian winter season has come around once again. We've had some very chilly nights and some actually raining nights. Down here in old K-Town has been, barely get a drop of rain at all. We'll get like thunder clouds rolling over and then next minute it's a sunny day again and nothing happens, but we've had a bit of rain, so I thought while we're all inside enjoying our cup of tea or hot Milo or coffee while listening to the rain on the roof while watching the footy, it'd be a good time for me to say some comfy stories. This is the first episode of a new series I shall make called Stories with Laimo, or Anecdotes with Laimo, whatever I'll call it, whatever the title says. Boys and girls can sit back, relax, get comfortable, and listen to a good old Laimo story, because a lot of you people who know me personally know that I tend to always have a story on hand, an absolute classic stitch-up to tell. I never run short of them, so I thought I might chuck them up on YouTube for you guys to give a little listen, And these stories don't come in any specific order. I'm not going to say episode 1, episode 2, or whatever. It's just going to be whatever the story is. And as you can already tell by the title, maybe some of you might be a bit excited for this one, because this story is the untold ones of Aquatics Camp. Now, in my Mally Chaps episode I did years ago, roughly highlighted some of the highlights of the trip. But there was a lot of stuff that I didn't quite get across. A lot of it was down to the people who'd actually been to Aquatics Camp and was there to experience it for themselves. They could look back and they'll go, yeah, haha, that did happen. But while I'm sitting here now, next to me virtual campfire, listening to the infinite rain on the roof, thought it might be nice to share the absolutely funniest parts of Aquatics Camp in detail. So there we were, in the dorms, about probably 9 to 10. Where the teachers would say, alright, that's enough, you guys need to go to bed now, stop making noise. And of course, if we were to make an excessive amount of noise, there would be complaints and the teachers would go absolutely livid. So, there we were, in the dorms. It's 9 to 10, not sure. And I had a pretty fun time with a new app I had on my iPad that I brought, called Instant Buttons, and it's just a bunch of dead memes on buttons that you could press. It was a soundboard, basically. And at various times, while everyone was trying to get to sleep, everyone was having a giggle. No one was actually trying to sleep. But, just all the boys in the dorms, so we were all having a giggle under our breath. And then, out of the blue, I go to press my instant button on full volume, and out of the general silence, John Cena! And then there was a split ratio, half the boys going, losing their minds, absolutely cracked up, while the other half of the boys were cracking the shits. Oh, fuck up, cunt, you couldn't get us in trouble, man, just couldn't. And then, the one episode before I did Aquatics Camp was, the Stream Wrestling run, the WrestleMania, whatever, WWE skit that I did on Microsoft Paint, Big Show versus John Cena, and to this day, I reckon the greatest joke I've ever written is, John Cena's pulled an 100-meter diving board from under the ring. That is gold.
Oh, it looks like John Cena's pulled an 100-meter diving board out from under the ring.
I just love how scuffed the diving board looks and how scuffed the microphone is as well, like, I've got to go back to using the microphone built into my Mac. It's just... I'm sorry, I was just watching it again. Absolute comedy genius. It was way ahead of its time, I'll tell you what. But anyway, back to the story. Time went on and the clock was ticking, and eventually it started to get pretty late. It was around 11. And we're all still giggling. We're all telling each other to shut up. And at the back at the dorms, Joel and Shane playing Clash of Clans on their phones. Harry in particular was not having it, and I originally found humour in the fact that he was getting so pissed off, and he had something in his eye, and he was trying to get to sleep, and eventually at one point they actually tried, him and Jack maybe, I think they tried to sleep outside, brought their blankets outside, wrapped themselves up like a burrito, and just slept on the grass because they just couldn't deal with all the noise going on in the dorms while they're trying to sleep at 11. And eventually it got to the point where it was getting a bit over the top, and I did get quite angry at everyone for not shutting the fuck up, because it was getting late and I needed my big boy sleep, so we get up early, man, to get breakfast and get the fuck out so we can do surfing and whatever. So, as depicted in the Mallee Chaps, I screamed, "Can you guys shut up?" And then Henry absolutely smashes me with this original fucking roast he pulls on me. He says, "Oh, Laimo, you on your period or something?" And then I got up. I was about to slug this cunt in the head. And I know what you guys are thinking, like, Laimo, you can't slug anyone for shit. And to that I say, come on, it's Henry's face, and this is back in, what? It was late grade 8, so he was, yeah, he was 13 years old, so, like, you know, I was a skinny kid, but I can punch a 13-year-old in the nose, especially when he's in bed. I reckon I depicted it well in the Mallee Chats, what the dorms actually looked like. It was sick, man. It was sick dorms, right? So I'm walking down this corridor to go give this fucking 13-year-old a smack, and at the other end of the dorms, trying to enjoy his Clash of Clans, Joel arises. Alright, most athletic cunt in the school, basically. I'm pretty sure there was more athletic cunts, but this was an athletic cunt. He actually just picked me up, threw me over his shoulder, and put me back into bed. And that was it. And I recall vividly, at about that age, I actually only weighed 40 kilograms. I was a fucking dog. A small dog. If I wanted to dress up as a skeleton for Halloween, I'd just have to walk around naked. But yeah, the night continued. Harry and Jack were squirming around outside, cracking the shits, and we were all having a generally good time. For the most part, it was still pretty fun. And then, the door of the dorms opens, and the yellow light shines into this dark corridor, and in the door frame appeared a black figure of none other than Miss Klitcher, and behind her, Jack and Harry. Some other teachers were there as well. They were all around the door, and they were having none of it. They said, "You boys are being absolutely disrespectful, and you guys need to sleep. I'm not putting up with any more of this. Carry on." Had a lecture, whatever. And then she said, "I'm gonna stand here for a whole minute, and if anyone makes any noise, the minute restarts." And we could just stand here all night. Well, I'm not worried. It's your lunchtime, guys. Let me paint the picture for you guys. There we were. Absolute silence. All of us just wanted her to fuck off, so we're all gonna be quiet. So picture it in your head. You're there. You're sitting in bed, waiting for the minute to be over. Silence. And then, every single one of us heard this. Mate, everybody lost their mind. How the fuck did Shane manage to kill one barbarian in complete silence? It was the most perfectly timed fucking... It was brilliant. It was the greatest thing that had ever happened in the entire camp, and Ms. Klitcher lost her shit. She's like, "Oi!" But as you can tell, the minute started again. We sat there for another half a minute, and then Shane pulled another one. We just heard, and yeah, the minute kept restarting, and it was a while until she actually finally fucked off. But yeah, classic stitch up. That was the untold story of Aquatics camp. The funniest thing that happened. Thank you, boys, for listening. A new one coming soon. I've got plenty of stories, and these are quick to make. So that's it. I'll give the video like another 10 seconds from now to finish.